I would identify myself as a woman who is married, has children, and a career. So when I was president of ACAP, one of the important things about the president is to pick a presidential initiative. And my presidential initiative was in the area of increasing awareness of depression in children and adolescents. And at that time, there was an increase in the number of youth who had depression, increase in the number of youth who committed suicide, with suicide being the second leading cause of death in children and adolescents. So I thought it was important to focus on this issue to increase public awareness. And in doing that, what myself and the task force did is that we updated the Depression Resource Center for ACAP and included in there something that was different. Previously, there was information material for parents and for clinicians. And what we did, we introduced a section for youth so that they would have materials that they could look at, particularly if they thought they were experiencing depression. So we updated facts for families, frequently asked questions. We updated the parents' medication guide. And then we published in the child and adolescent psychiatric clinics a special issue on depression in special populations. So this was looking at depression in youth that might have medical disorders, in the military families who had abuse, substance abuse, autism spectrum disorder, among many others. And then probably the very important thing that came out of this initiative is that there was a new published clinical assessment and treatment of depression in children and adolescents. So I had always had an interest in mental health. And in college, I was a psychology major. And it hadn't been my plan at that point to be a psychiatrist. What I did is after I graduated from college, I started graduate school. I went to Temple University and got a PhD in clinical psychology. My intent had been to have that as my career path. But the first year that I was in graduate school, I had noticed that there was starting to be more interest in medication treatments in psychopharmacology. And I was concerned, I was very early in my career, that if I didn't have that ability to include that within the treatment for individuals that had psychiatric problems, that I'd be restricted in how I could help people. So after the first year of graduate school, I decided that I would go to medical school and be a psychiatrist. And at the time, though, I had been a psychology major and I didn't have any of the prerequisites for medical school. So I started taking I started taking college courses at night in physiology, organic chemistry, biology, and all of the requirements. And I had set for myself a 4-year plan that I needed to finish my PhD, including my clinical internship in 4 years. So I did that, and then I started medical school. I went to SUNY Stony Brook, and then after that, I went to Harvard Medical School, Beth Israel Hospital, for my general psychiatry. And I knew I wanted to work with children. I had worked with children when I did my internship in clinical psychology. So then I did my fellowship at McLean. So it was a longer route, but I knew when I started medical school, I was doing psychiatry. What I like the most about my work is that I get to do a wide range of duties. I'm currently the chair of psychiatry at the University of Texas in Galveston. And so that gives me the opportunity to have a lot of administrative responsibilities in the department and outside of the department. I have the opportunity to supervise child fellows in their clinics. I also have a lot of opportunity to conduct research. And so it varies: clinical work, teaching, administration, research. It's a very exciting and fulfilling career. I don't know if there's a particular story, but I think the thing that stands out to me and what it, to me is the joy of child psychiatry is working with children. They say what they think. They're very straightforward. They don't filter, and you never know what you are going to hear from them. And it can be so engagingly delightful, and at times so poignantly sad when you have a 8-year-old who tells you that no one will ever love them, and that's that's what they think. So it's that range of emotions and ability to express themselves, to me, in only a way that a child can do, that I find so compelling about the field of child and adolescent psychiatry. Yeah, I'm involved. I am involved and have been involved in a number of them. I was president of the American Association of Directors of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry. I'm on the executive committee for the American Association of Chairs of Departments of Psychiatry. I've been president of the Texas Child and Adolescent Psychiatry Organization and president of the Texas Society of Psychiatric Physicians. And I'm a distinguished fellow in the APA, and I'm involved in a number of scientific advisory groups for professional organizations. I think when trying to form alliances, it's important to have similar interests and goals, and with that comes timing. I think it's, if one organization has an initiative that they think is important, and another has one and they think it's important, and neither one budges, then that's not going to work. I think you have to find an area where you can collaborate, but that both organizations think are important at this time to address, and to be respectful of the other views of the organization and how they might approach that issue. So I think it's a matter of topic and timing. So I think a niche for me in child and adolescent psychiatry was in the area of psychopharmacology. And I had an interest in finding evidence-based treatments for children that have depression, particularly medication treatments. And there was a cohort of other psychopharmacology related colleagues in not just depression, but in bipolar disorder and other areas. So it was a very natural and cohesive group from which some very strong friendships have been made over the years. I think the biggest challenge is finding the time to do all of the things that you want to do, and finding the time to do nothing. I think those are the two areas that just like cut across people's careers, and so I'd say those are the two greatest. I think by prioritizing time,
Yes.
selecting what's important, and finding a balance between things. So for me, when I'm at work, I'm busy doing work, and what I'm thinking about is work. And then when I have my family time, which is my joy, I don't let work intrude on that. So I think doing it that way, just enjoying where you are, not thinking about what you'd be doing what you should be doing at work if you're at home, or if you're at work, what you think you should be doing at home. I really try and make it be that I enjoy wherever I am. And it's been a very successful formula for me. It's probably the, you know, the place I've been very fortunate at my institution to have mentors, and the previous chair of the department was a mentor in the area of adult psychopharmacology, and he was very helpful in introducing me to that field, and I had an opportunity to see how things were working with the adults, and so then I could be able to apply that to some of the type of things we were doing with children. But my wellness, I think it's just it's because I enjoy what I do.
Yes.
I enjoy my job. I enjoy the faculty who I work with. I enjoy going to professional meetings, especially ACAP, especially ACAP, and
Yes.
having an opportunity there to be with colleagues and friends, and I love spending time with my family and our dog. We've had a number of wonderful dogs, so they've always been a part of our lives, and having a very supportive and loving family. I just said no, and with
Okay.
and
Yeah.
and if I knew it wasn't the right time for me, then
Yes.
it wouldn't help. It wouldn't be good for the other organization, and it wouldn't be good for me. It wouldn't be good for my family. So
Yeah.
uh,
Yes.
just if it's not the time, it's not the time. By managing my time, and to be very efficient, and to try and see what's really important, and to focus on that and not get caught up in all of the details, really to be very, very strategic with the things that I was doing. I think I got the education that I needed to pursue
Yes.
where I went, and no, I think I've just been really satisfied with how this career has turned out. More than satisfied. So I guess with networking, I think networking is essential for career development. It introduces you to a number of professional colleagues who have similar interests, and it also is sustaining because you develop friendships. It's not just the being colleagues, but you really do get to have friends. And I think for people early on, it's important that they figure out where their interests are, and then find individuals, say within ACAP, that have similar interests. And I think committees, you know, being involved in committees, that's one of the first ways people can start to find colleagues and develop an area of career expertise. So there's been, you know, quite significant changes. I mean, when I think about child psychiatry early on, there were really not a lot of treatments. Actually, there was not much focus on children at all. It was even in the beginning, there was questions whether children could be, for example, depressed. Did they have sufficient superego to be depressed? Those were, you know, they were more of a Freudian model. And we had very few medications to treat children. So and then I think another area was, you know, back then there was a lot of blame of parents for children's disorders, you know, thinking that a parent, a mother in particular, was the cause of a child's autism. So there were those kinds of theories that fortunately, you know, are no longer even being thought about, let alone discussed. So I think where the field has gone is that there is such an increased awareness of children's mental health conditions. There are many more evidence-based treatments available, and there is inclusion of the family in the process of assisting the child in getting well. It is a great life. It is a wonderful career. Now, every day, working with children every day brings something new. Just when you thought you've seen everything, heard everything, there is something new. And it's evolving. We have more treatments available, more strategies, hopefully, for prevention. So it's something that doesn't stay static, and that's what makes it just so exciting. And I think there are endless possibilities for going in any particular direction with a career in child and adolescent psychiatry. We need more child and adolescent psychiatrists, and ACAP is truly a home for them. That's their professional home.